If I told you a teenager from Barbados would redefine music, fashion, and beauty on a global scale, would you believe it? Stick with me. Rihanna's story isn't just about numbers and accolades. It's about what happens when talent, resilience, and relentless reinvention collide. Ready to see the world through her lens? Picture a young Rihanna growing up in a Bridgetown bungalow colored by hardship. Her father struggled with addiction, her home life fractured by violence and uncertainty. Now you might be thinking, how does a child in that environment dream big? The answer lies in two words: grit and escape. Music became her catharsis. That's a psychological release. Like opening a pressure valve, she devoured reggae, R&B, and pop, idolizing Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, and at just 11 joined the Barbados Cadet Corps, where discipline became her armor. Rihanna didn't just survive, she thrived. By age 16, she dropped out of school to pursue music, supported by her mother's strength. That resolve, forged in adversity, would become the through line of her career. Ask yourself, how many of us could turn pain into power on such a scale? Critics sometimes romanticize the struggle, but let's be real, childhood trauma is no fairy tale. Rihanna's candor about her past destigmatizes tough conversations around domestic violence and mental health, especially in Black and Caribbean communities. In Act 3, we see young Robin channel adversity into creative fuel. Without her early hardships, would the world have gotten the same fiercely independent Rihanna? It's a reminder, sometimes roots shape more than origin stories, they seed revolutions. So, what happens when you mix unfiltered ambition with musical curiosity? You get Rihanna's genre-bending discography, 8 albums, each a fresh experiment. From Pon de Replay's Caribbean Pulse to the dark energy of Rated R and the eclectic synth-pop of Anti, she's a master of aesthetic metamorphosis. Think of Good Girl Gone Bad as a pivot like a chess player, sacrificing a pawn to checkmate pop stardom. Suddenly, Rihanna was everywhere. 14 Billboard Hot, 100 hash-owns, diamond-certified singles, and a sound that bounced from dancehall to EDM, rock to ballads. Technical term time, call it cross-genre hybridity, the ability to fuse styles without losing authenticity. Now, you might say, isn't reinvention risky? Absolutely. For every breakout like Umbrella, there were critics who said her sound was too commercial or inauthentic. But Rihanna made unpredictability, her brand, her fashion icon status, rose alongside image shifts that mirrored her, musical evolution. Here's the twist. Those reinventions weren't just about personal expression. They redefined what pop stardom means for Black women globally. She shattered stereotypes, proved you could be vulnerable and powerful, and encouraged a generation to own their narratives. Resolution? Rihanna's legacy is disruption, her career, a blueprint for creative latitude. She didn't just change her sound, she changed the rules for everyone who followed, from Lorde to SZA. Do you feel the scales tipping yet? Let's step outside the recording studio. How did Rihanna become the world's first female musician billionaire? 2 words: disruptive entrepreneurship. With Fenty Beauty, she introduced Foundation Shade Range. Think of it as the color spectrum finally getting a full box of crayons. Her business model wasn't just about profit. It was about inclusivity, a buzzword that's often lip service. Rihanna made it tangible. Fenty Beauty's 40+ shades forced the entire cosmetics industry to play catch up. That's the Fenty effect. You might be asking, was it really that groundbreaking? Picture this. Before Fenty, major brands offered maybe a dozen shades. After Fenty, 40 became the gold standard. In lingerie, Savage X Fenty did the same, expanding size and shade inclusivity, normalizing diversity on the runway. Outside business, Rihanna's philanthropy through the Clara Lionel Foundation has funneled millions into disaster relief, education, and health. Her activism spans racial justice, climate action, and gender rights, making her a modern-day ambassador for global change. So here's the resolution. Rihanna's empire isn't built merely on sales or style, but seismic shifts in culture and commerce. She's proof that pop stars can be power brokers, and that success, when shared, multiplies impact. Ready for the final act? Let's land this plane. What can we really learn from Rihanna's odyssey? First, resilience transforms hardship into rocket fuel. Second, reinvention is a superpower. Creativity thrives when you refuse every box. Third, leadership means rewriting the rules so others can rise with you. If you're asking, how do I apply this? Here's one action step. Identify a constraint in your life or field and flip it into opportunity. Rihanna turned exclusion into market dominance. You can turn setbacks into springboards. Key technical takeaways: embrace cross-genre hybridity in your own work, mix ideas, break molds, and never underestimate brand differentiation. Find that Fenty-level gap in your ecosystem and claim it. Here's your cliffhanger. Rihanna's story isn't over. With Fenty hair now disrupting the beauty market and her activism expanding into global policy, what frontier will she conquer next? Thanks for tuning in. If you found value in this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder that reinvention is possible. Next time, we'll explore another cultural innovator, so subscribe and don't miss the next video in the playbook for World Shapers.